If you're a woman who's feeling stuck in a life that isn't everything you'd hope for, I think you'll be inspired by my guest today. She's going to talk about how to design your future self. Hello and welcome to the Seven Figure Life Fulfillment Podcast, where we share strategies to help coaches and consultants build life affirming seven figure businesses filled with passion and purpose. I'm your host, Ken Stephen, and my guest today is Andrea McLean. Andrea is a board certified life, career, and executive coach who is passionate about empowering women to transform their lives. She helps women embrace their authentic selves, uncover their unique strengths, and step confidently into their power. Andrea, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Ken. It's my pleasure to be here with you today.
Well, I'm inspired just by how it is you help women right now. And I kind of hinted at it in the introduction, but maybe the best place to start is elaborating a bit more on who it is you help and how you help them.
Yeah, absolutely. My ideal client, is a woman who is in some sort of transition in life. So it could be that she's graduating college and trying to figure out what's next for her, or it could be someone who is mid-career trying to figure out, do I make a turn here? Or in today's environment, it could be someone who is in the midst of a reorganizational change and is looking for their next opportunity, or somebody who is transitioning out of a corporate career after many years, like I did, and is trying to figure out what's purposeful for them for the next phase of their life.
And it could be someone who's just feeling stuck. It could be even an entrepreneur, right? Who's stuck right now,
Hey, who's
like a
stuck
coach or
right
a
now?
consultant, right?
Mhm.
And looking, what should I really be doing with my life? Because I'm not really happy with where it is today,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Yes.
So
And
what would
mhm.
be a telltale sign to the women that you would want to help? What would be telltale signs that maybe they could use your help?
So a telltale sign would be you feel a sense of uneasiness. It's almost like you have this intuition that there's more. At least for me, that's how it felt. Like there was more than me going into work, doing this corporate gig, forever. There's just this sense that there's a stirring where I need to really be doing something different. I might not know what it is, and that's where I could help them to uncover what that is. But that's really what I've seen happen is, they have to realize that there's an issue they're dealing with or a problem they need to solve, because then that's when they'll reach out to myself as a coach or to other coaches.
And and how did you get started doing this? Because I'm sensing I know you say you're passionate about helping. Okay, did this all come about because as you mentioned just a second ago, what you noticed yourself and how you were
Mhm.
feeling? Is that how this all started with you and why you wanted to become a coach?
So it's interesting. I'll take you back a little further. About probably 10 years, 9 years ago now, I had taken the Gallup Strengths Assessment. And the coach that was facilitating that assessment said to me, based on my profile, that I would make a good coach. And she actually said, you should try to sign up with Gallup. But I kind of parked it because I was, moving along in my career. Everything was going fine. So that was just in the back of my brain. And then probably about 3.5 years ago, I was anticipating a promotion. And when it didn't come through, that's when I had to step back and reflect and say, what am I going to do next? Am
Hmm.
I going to take charge of this career ladder, or am I going to wait to see what happens? And that's when I decided that I was going to become my future self and actually wrote a book titled Decide to Be Your Future Self, because I went through this journey of what was it that I really needed to be doing? And out of that birthed my SOAR method. And SOAR is a framework I created, and the S stands for shift your mindset, overcome challenges, activate your plan, reflect and refine.
Hmm.
And I had to do all of that because here I was, I was in my 50s. I had to figure out what did I want to do next. And then when I thought about this whole coaching mention, and I realized I had been coaching my whole career with all of my global teams, I thought, let me lean into this. But I had a chemistry undergrad degree, and I didn't think that, people would think that was a good credential as a coach. Maybe I was wrong. So I went back and did my master's, online part-time, took me 3 years, but that was, overcoming a challenge, and did my coaching certifications and sat for the board certified coach exam. So again, it's about shifting that mindset, you're going to have challenges that you have to deal with, but you have to take action. And then along the way, you adjust as you need.
So that would be the process that you would take a client through. You would take them through your SOAR method, right?
Yes, I
Okay.
would. Yes. Mhm.
Can you elaborate a little bit on how it would start and kind of how you
Mhm.
would work with a client to go through that process?
Yes, absolutely. So the first thing I'd like to understand is where's the client coming from? Who are they? And one of the coaching certifications that I did, and I'm certified to do the readouts, is the Principles U assessment. It's from Ray Dalio, Adam Grant, and there's a third person. I can't recall his name at the moment, but it's a free assessment online. And it tells you how you think, what motivates you, and how you interact with others. So I often start there for clients to understand who they are in the world and how they connect with people. And, most importantly, what is motivating them? Is it more intrinsic where it's, I want to make a difference, I want to live out my purpose, or is it because of some external factors like, well, this is what I'm supposed to do, this is what's expected of me? And so once I understand, where they're coming from, then that's when I ask about what do you envision in 5, 10 years? If you had no limitations, what would you be doing? So we work through visioning and understanding limiting beliefs and reframing limiting beliefs to shift that mindset. And then acknowledging the challenges. We don't often get a chance to, move obstacles out of the way. Sometimes we have to go around them. Sometimes we have to break them apart. So, what are the challenges or obstacles they're facing? And then helping them to create a plan of how they're going to deal with these obstacles. How can you view them differently as a stepping stone versus something that's blocking you from getting to the destination that you want? And then the activate your plan. So that's setting the right goals, making sure that they are achievable, that they're not going to be so lofty that they are going to demotivate you or it's going to take 10 years to get there, but breaking it down into smaller chunks so that you can make progress. But they need to be measurable and there has to be some timing to it. So at least you can see the progress that you're making along the way and the steps that you're going to take and follow. So that's activating the plan because you can shift your mindset, figure out how you're going to overcome challenges, have this big vision. But if you don't take action, it's still just a dream. So
Hmm.
you have to take action. And then the reflect and refine is the reflecting is look at the progress you've made and celebrate it, even the small milestones. I know a lot of times we wait until we get to the big prize and yay, we made it, we did it. But we need to celebrate along the way because if I look back and I think about where I've come from in a year to where I am today, it's like, wow, I wouldn't have imagined the progress I've made in a year. So we need to celebrate those milestones along the way, but then also refine because, life isn't static, life is dynamic. And maybe the plan and the vision you had in the beginning, now you've been exposed to some different things. You've figured out you like to do some different things. So maybe the plan has to be tweaked a little bit. And so that's where the refining happens. And it's a cycle that can continue. And, I'm finding that this is working not only for the women that I coach, but it can work even in professional lives, coaching executives. Because as a coach, when you're dealing with a client, they may also need to shift some mindsets, overcome some challenges, activate a different plan than they might have had, especially, maybe dealing with different economic circumstances and then also reflecting and refining that plan and celebrating as they've made progress through the plan. So I'm excited to see how it's applicable to many facets of life, not just to, individual women that I may be coaching.
I love the framework. I love the framework.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really do. It's simple, right? Um, but it's well targeted, right? Like it's very clear what happens at each stage. So,
Mhm.
given that most of my audience for this podcast is going to be coaches and consultants, is there, let's say, for that group of people, is
Mhm.
there maybe a quick tip you could give them that a first step that they can take maybe on this journey to defining their future self?
Yes, absolutely. So I think we need to understand who the client is. So, like in the case of executives, for example, you know, are they dreamers? And do they need to be more focused on the activate your plan portion of SOAR to make sure that things are being executed, for example? Right? Or, is it that they're somewhat now, despondent about maybe how their business is doing, and you need to work with them on shifting their mindset because maybe they've seen a downturn in the business operations. So I think you can use the whole framework, but as a coach, you can also hone in on where do I need to target this coaching based on the S, the O, the A, the R in the cycle.
Ah, that's good. Okay. Um, Andrea, this has been really good. Where can people find out more about you and how they can maybe start working with you?
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Ken. Yes, they can go to my website, www.andreacmclean, and please put the C because there's another Andrea McLean in the UK. Uh, and there you'll see under the resources tab that I have blogs, I have a couple of podcast episodes, and I also have a quiz on do you know your resilience score?
Oh, that sounds
And I
good.
think, thank you. I think today in the world we live in today, it's important to know how resilient we are and maybe what are some of the things we can do to become more resilient.
Okay, that sounds wonderful. I am definitely going to put a link to that in the show notes below so that everyone will know how to get there. And Andrea, I want to thank you for being so generous with your time and your insights today. I love your SOAR method. I
You.
hope people actually go to your website and check it out because I think it actually could be quite valuable. I certainly got a lot of takeaways from this. If anyone else listening to this today also got benefits from Andrew's insights, then please share it with other people so they can get a benefit from it too. And stay tuned for the next episode of the Seven Figure Life Fulfillment Podcast. And Andrea, thanks again for being such a great guest.
Oh, thank you so much, Ken. It's really been a pleasure chatting with you today.
Okay, bye for now.